Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. What's up, everybody? We're the Transylvania Hellhounds. I'm Squatch. This is
Alan.
Keith. Together we formed the Cyclops. My God. All right. We got Alan on bass. We got Keith at guitar. We got a Hobbit on the drums. But we're not doing any of that today. Today we're getting to know you. And you're getting to know us. Or you're turning this off and moving on. Or I'm turning this off and moving on. But we thought we'd do a little something like this, kind of keep things going, keep things moving. We're going to talk a little bit about the band. We're going to talk a little bit about, like, maybe something spooky. Oh. And then we're going to talk about a movie. And that movie that we're talking about today is The Color Out of Space. And then later, we're going to share some stuff that we just kind of want to promote, stuff that we like, stuff that we're into right now, whatever. It's going to change every time we do this. I hope. But
we got to do the same episode over and over again.
Yes.
2 times in a row.
Yes.
Just change a word here and there.
Yeah. Tune in next week when we talk about The Color Out of Space. And the week after that, we're covering The Color Out of Space. All right. Well, first off, let's talk about some stuff that's going on with the band. Keith, why don't you talk a little bit about some stuff that's going on with the band?
I'd love to.
They're coming for your toilet paper. They're coming for your toilet paper.
Sorry.
No, I'd like to address, the fact we've been recording some. Now, granted, everybody is in the same boat. We're all getting a little bit of the, stayaways and keep indoorsies. And, of course, my personal favorite, the watch the TVs. So we were recording, getting some good quality stuff down that we could listen to, at least pro demo stuff that we can take home with us, listen to. And then we got to lay some final tracks on a few of the new songs. We haven't gotten final vocals, final mixing, all that. And now with the, pandemic going on, I don't know if we're going to be able to get together for a while or not, but just so that everybody out there knows, we've been pushing forward new material. It's good stuff. And we're having fun with it, at least. I hope you guys are going to have some fun with it. And we released a month and a half ago, Spider Baby music video.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And hopefully we can do another one here in a little bit, get something else out there for everybody.
Oh, yeah. And check out that Spider Baby video on our YouTubes and our Facebooks.
And the Spotify, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Sure.
Speaking of movies, Greg, do you want to fill everybody in about the Harvest of Horrors?
Sure. We have hooked up with an independent movie company called Fuzzy Monkey, and they have just released a new film called Harvest of Horrors. It's an anthology, and our song "If There Be Horns" off of our 13 Tales of Monsters and Madness is featured on that film. And we are currently writing a theme song for a new film that they're getting ready to release called Shriek Show. So keep an eye out for that. I believe Harvest of Horrors is available. Just got to get out there and look for it and find it. Go to Fuzzy Monkey Films on Facebook. And I'm sure they will direct you to the correct path to purchase that film if you'd like. But hey, the Hellhounds are on a horror movie. It's about time. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
What we were born to do.
We're having a good time with it. We're pretty excited about it. And as Keith had mentioned earlier, we're demoing some stuff right now. That song Shriek Show is part of that demo. We're going to be sending to the film crew and see what they think of it. And if they give us the green light, we're going to try and get to recording that as soon as possible and get that featured in the film. Good stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of, there's things grinding to a halt out there, but we all, everyone watching, everyone listening, and us also, we all just need to be on the same page of, hey, we'll get things ramped up and going again. Everybody in their own lives, everything going on, we all just need to, just be compassionate for each other and know that we'll all get through this as people, or I'm sure, and us included, we're going to have new content as soon as we can get back together to recording and stuff.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I think that's about all the Hounds news we got going on right now. So I'm going to tell you a little. We're going to do a little segment. We're going to test this out. I mean, this is the first time for all of this, so we're just kind of winging it as we go. But we're going to try and do a little segment on each of these shows that we're going to continue to do. It's going to be talking about a cryptid or a ghost story or something like that. Kind of mess around with that a little bit before we get into the feature, which is The Color Out of Space. But I'm going to start off with a personal story. It's a bit of a ghost story. Let's see what you guys think about this. First met my wife in Houston, Texas, and we moved into an apartment with our little baby girl and our son. And of course, my daughter had her own little room with the crib and all that in it. And we had a baby monitor. My wife and I are sleeping in the room next door. And that place had always given us weird vibes. I mean, sometimes you hear people coming up the stairs and there's no one there, just weird stuff like that. And then one night, my wife and I are lying in bed. We're both drifting off to sleep. And then in the baby monitor, we hear what literally sounds like my daughter's name was Megan. And it started hissing real bad. And then out of that hiss, something called her name. And it freaked us out so bad that without saying a word, both of us jumped up out of bed and ran to her room. And I kicked the door open thinking I was going to see something because it sounded like something out of a horror movie, man. It freaked us out. And when I opened that door, my daughter was standing up in her crib pointing at the closed door of the closet. Naturally, my wife and I are both like, holy shit. So I ran to the closet and swung the door open and there was nothing there. Do you guys believe in ghosts? Have you guys ever had something happen to you that you just couldn't explain like that? Or where do you stand on that kind of stuff?
I've never personally experienced anything. I'm not closed to the idea, but I've never seen anything personally that convinced me. So I'm up in the air on that.
I got you. I know Keith say, so I want to hear what Alan has to say first.
I don't think everybody who has a personal story like that is seeking attention. There's got to be something there. Even if it's an energy left over. Because energy never dies, right? So I'll never discount ghosts. Personally, I've never had that vivid of an experience. I've had a few things like when you're kind of half asleep, so you don't know if it's like you're dreaming something or you're in that state. But yeah, I'll never discount it.
I get you. Keith, what do you think, brother?
I've seen a couple things that made me go, what exactly was that? There was the first house that when I moved out, I got this little house in a little town, and there was a grayish blue apparition or something that me and several other people sometimes saw around the front door. But other than that, that's one example of weird stuff, several of those. But the one cool one I'll say, this is a family story. It was before my time. In the 60s, my dad's grandfather, my grandmother's father, he was on his deathbed. And back then, people couldn't travel state to state as easily. And they would talk on the phone. But he wasn't able to see a lot of family members there at the end. And I guess he told everyone, the night I go, don't worry, I'll knock on everyone's door and let them know. And so my grandmother's family, they were, they're from France, but they came here in like the late 1700s or something, the Scepters and the Craigs or something. And so they had some kind of gypsy blood in them. I've heard. I guess my great grandmother used to do palm readings and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, that night, there was, how we all say a cop knock, bang, bang, bang. At the door,
We've all heard the cop knock, right? Yeah.
And it woke up. It woke up my dad and his dad, my grandpa and my grandma. And my grandpa went to the door, and this happened 3 times, I do believe. Each time, several minutes apart, my grandpa would open up the door and, "You dang kids, stop pranking us." It's the mid-'60s. They're thinking the neighborhood kids are pranking them. So they get the call then the next day he had passed, didn't think anything of it. And then at the memorial service in the subsequent week, they were talking, and family members started talking to each other about all of them got the bang, bang, bang 3 times on their doors the night that he passed.
Wow.
So, and I mean, family members talked about it for 20 years and more.
That had to send chills up their spines, man. That had to be crazy. Wow. That's cool. That is cool. That's a pretty neat experience, man.
I know one thing. I'd like to be able to do something like that. Freak all y'all out.
You don't have to become a ghost to freak us out, Keith.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
That's a compliment.
Very cool. Very cool. So, tell us what you think in the comments. Let us know about your ghost stories or how you feel about that kind of thing. Supernatural is definitely out there, and it's for some people and not for others. Who knows? But I think now we're going to get into the meat of this. We're going to rock on with The Color Out of Space. Just recently released, starring Nicolas Cage. If you haven't seen it yet, I highly suggest it. It's a killer adaptation of an H.P. Lovecraft story, brought to us by Richard Stanley, who did films like Hardware, Dust Devil, and Island of Dr. Moreau. Beautiful movie. Craziness. What did you guys think of it? Just your initial description of it. What'd you think?
Well, I was pretty much blown away by it. I think that's of all the Lovecraft-based movies that I've seen, I feel like this one holds the closest. Well, in a German version of it that came out in 2011, those two hold the closest to the original story of any other Lovecraft adaptation I've seen. And I mean, it's hard to. He tends to be very vague in his description, so it's hard to. A lot of times I see why you're taking a 15-page story sometimes and turn it into an hour-and-a-half movie.
Sure.
You got to fly with your own ideas there a lot. But this one stuck pretty true, except for the time frame. It stuck pretty true to the original story, which impressed me. And like the acting's really good. The effects, the visuals are just awesome. So yeah, I loved it. I was blown away by it.
When was the original one set? Wasn't it in the 50s? The original timeline?
The original story takes place in 1920 or right around there. But he's being told about this is the water surveyor, and he's being told by the neighbor what happened some 30 years before. So what he's hearing about took place in like 1890 or something like that. But he's hearing about it secondhand from the character that's probably Tommy Chong's character is probably based on this character. So different things happen to him.
And the span in the original story is a lot longer, right? Where there's a movie like maybe a couple weeks, and then the story itself is like a year, like spans close to a year.
I don't recall it. I don't recall it necessarily specifically saying how long it went on. It just kind of suggests it by the state of things. You know what I mean? It suggests that months later they're checking up on them, and holy crap, everything's gone crazy.
Right.
But yeah, damn good stuff.
Oh yeah. Keith, your initial response to the film?
The cinematography and the film direction, it's very well done. It's one thing to have a good director, and it's one thing to have high dollar cameras in a good setting and all that. But if you don't have a good cameraman and you don't have a good crew, your lighting crew, I mean, it's just the field of views and the depth of focus that they use and they don't just use. It's not like a one-trick movie. They really pull out a lot from the bag of tricks, and they layer it too, and they bring it to your eyes in a way that it keeps your eyes wanting to really try to see everything and enjoy it. A lot of movies are hard to watch. We say, man, that movie was hard to watch just because shaky camera or out of focus, a little too much for dramatic emphasis. And that all aside, this really stuck to the good rule, in my opinion. Good film, good cameras, good crew, good lighting, good direction. The screenplay was well written, good acting. It just, and aside from, of course, the actual story, the plot, the adaptation, because it's being a Lovecraft film. The majority of Lovecraft films, at least to me, have had a lack of production. They've really been like in the B movie category, unfortunately. And this one, it really is not. There is no way anyone will ever say this is anywhere near a B category. This is top notch. The production's top notch. You can tell a lot of the scenes, at least I could infer that it took them a lot to get that scene, and they really worked hard at it. And I really, other than just enjoying the plot of the movie and Nicolas Cage, that was one thing I can take away from it. And like you said, initial reaction. Well, as soon as I started watching, I was like, wow, this was done right. I can tell it's going to be one of those movies that was done right. And it was.
Oh, awesome. And you guys, how did you feel about Nicolas Cage being in it? Did he add to the film, or did he distract you from the film? Tell me what you think about that.
I loved him in the film.
Awesome.
Just because it's like he pulled all the crazy Nicolas Cage from previous, going all the way back to like Raising Arizona. I could see a little bit of that there.
Yeah.
And then I think he just ate it up. And it wasn't Wicker Man Nicolas Cage, it wasn't almost embarrassing. It was just like he embraced that role, and you could tell it. You could tell he enjoyed playing that role, I think.
Yeah, I almost saw like a timeline, like you almost saw like Nicolas Cage spanning the history of his films, because like in 1 minute he's doing this accent, the next minute he's acting like this, and I accepted it because of the nature of what was happening to him in the film. Everyone, the moment that things started going crazy, everyone had like a severe shift, almost like they all started to change, whether it was their speech pattern or their emotions or their physical well-being. Everyone started to change. I dug the hell out of that.
If you've never listened to the Transylvania Hellhounds, you should. If you're a Transylvania Hellhounds fan but haven't listened to them in a while, you should. And if you listen to the Transylvania Hellhounds all the time, day in and day out, non-stop, we understand. Just a friendly reminder, we are everywhere that you want to listen to music. Everywhere.
All right, Hobbit, tell us what you think about Nicolas Cage in the film.
All right. I thought he was great. Generally speaking, I like Nicolas Cage a lot, and especially when he gets into crazy mode. And like you're saying, the shift, the gradual shift from normal family man Nicolas Cage into crazy Nicolas Cage was excellent. Very well timed, very well paced, I guess I should say. And he doesn't go Mandy crazy, but he gets into crazy mode, and it's glorious. He's a highlight in this, I think. Awesome.
Keith, I know that you're a bourbon man, so I thought you might connect with Nick in this film. What'd you think, brother?
Well, Nicolas Cage I'm a fan, going into the movie. But at the same time, I've seen a few Cage films where I'm like, oh, man, you could have done better. Yeah, you left something on the table there. But he didn't leave anything on the table that I could bring up. Maybe if I watched it 12 times, I might say, oh, at 37 minutes in, if only he would have accented. No. it's really good performance, and the part he plays, it's not one of those parts where, oh, that's written for Nicolas Cage. No, I mean it's a part that could have been taken under the wing by a lot of actors. I can probably see a couple right off the top of my head that could probably pull it off. But I if they ever do a remake of this, I'll always think back to Cage's performance. That he, I don't think anybody could have done better. And not just that, but he has this flair of being relatable in a believable way to somebody actually going a little nuts. Like Alan said, Raising Arizona. I remember that back in the day. Like, it was a relatable character, especially the way he would experience his out of body, stuff in that movie. And this one also, as his mind's degrading and he's losing his mind, it was played really well, acted really, really well.
Awesome. Yeah. Now, see, I know this film is kind of categorized as a horror film. Definitely body horror, kind of a Cronenberg feel as far as, what's happening to the people because of their exposure to the color out of space. Didn't see it as much of a horror film as like a Friday the 13th movie or something. It wasn't as straightforward. It's more of a mental thing, and then the body changing kind of stuff, especially with the apocalypse, if you know what I'm talking about here, without trying to give too much away. The mom and Jack, the merging thing going on there. There's a lot of body horror, which gives a lot of people the creeps, but there wasn't really a lot of like jump scare initial. They didn't just shove it in your face kind of a thing. It was delivered very cleverly. And I really dug that. It was much more of a mental film than it was, I would say, a blatant visual. Although, man, there are moments that just really stand out visually. I thought the effects were done really, really well.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys. Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna the psychological side, like you said, it's far more of a mind fuck than it is a like jump scare bullshit.
Right.
I'm tired of that stuff. Every now and then it works, but when your whole movie is just something flies by the screen, loud noise, trying to make you jump. Bullshit.
Right.
That's lame. That's cheap. That's easy. This movie gets in your brain, gets under your skin, and it's also one of those. Now I've watched it 3 times now, and it's one where notice subtle things every time. Notice something new every time I watch it.
Oh yeah.
And new details about how each of them goes crazy, and how they set up their good side or their normal side. And then as the colors affecting them, how that good side warps and becomes the thing that's making them nuts. Like,
yeah. Now, I know we're kind of dancing around this film because we're trying not to give away too much as far as spoilers and stuff. And I'm asking the people that are watching this, if you want to hear us talk a little more deeply about the plots and giving away spoilers and stuff like that, say something in the comments, let us know, and we'd be more than happy to just walk you right through this son of a bitch, if you know what I'm talking about. Because there's so much going on. There's so much happening here. I mean, so many cool characters, and I hate focusing a lot on Nick Cage because everybody does, but the other actors in this film, I think, do a fantastic job. I don't have a complaint about anybody. I thought everybody did really, really well in the film, and I was surprised by Tommy Chong. I was completely surprised.
Yeah.
And I thought he did fantastic. I thought he was an awesome character in the movie. Yeah.
He has some favorite lines in the movie. That whole thing where he's listening to the ground and stuff, and what's in here is out there, and what's out there is in here now. Comprendo? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I love that line. It sounds hippy, but it also sounds ominous.
Oh yeah. It's so deep, but it's so
here now.
Exactly. And it's crazy because all 4 of us, I know we're all big horror fans. We've been watching horror all our lives. So we are easily jaded. And, when we see something that's happened a million times, like a jump scare, someone throws a cat in the scene, that kind of stuff, we're all like, yeah, ho hum, we've seen it a million times. But there is a new generation of people out there that haven't seen that kind of stuff. So I understand why it still happens, and it's something I think we're just going to have to look past for the rest of our lives, because it's like going through a haunted house that never changes. It's going to scare someone that's never been in it, but we're going to walk through it and be like, hey, Bob, how you doing today? And the other versions of this film, I thought, like the original Die Monster Die with Boris Karloff. It's based on the same exact story. I just wanted to bring that up because I'm sure there's a lot of people that don't even know about that film. But it's an adaptation of the same story. And it's crazy. If you watch both, you can see the similarities. You can see what's going on there. It's pretty neat. It's like a walk through history kind of thing. But I don't think there's much more we can talk about with this movie. So I'm going to say let's move on to what individually we're into this week. During the lockdown, we're all trying to keep busy and do some stuff, and we all have things that just we're into right now. So I'm going to go ahead and start this part off. That's cool. Anybody else got anything to say about the movie before we move on?
Well, how many stars does everybody give it?
Oh, you want to rate this mother? Well, now we need to establish a rating system. Are we talking 5 stars? Are we talking
5?
5?
Out of 5.
$5.
We're talking footlongs here? All right, cool. How about what would you rate this film?
Did you say Hobbit or Alan?
I think I said Hobbit, but I could have said Alan.
I thought you said, okay, we're rating out of 5 howls. And if we're going out of 5 howls, then I'm going to easily 4.5 howls out of 5. But that could, with more viewings, that could grow to a perfect 5. I like it more every time I watch it. As it stands right now, a very easy 4.5 out of 5.
Awesome. Alan, what do you think, brother?
Yeah, there's nothing about this movie I don't like, but it's hard to rate something perfect because we might do a movie that I like even better, and can you get more perfect? So I'm right there with Hobbit. I'm thinking like 4.5 because it's just like I don't think there's nothing I don't like about it. I'm watching it right now. There's nothing I don't like about it, but it's hard to make.
We're doing a podcast right now. You're watching a movie while we're doing
right now. I agree with Hobbit.
Very cool. Keith, sir.
Well, I'll confuse their ratings even more.
He's going to be like 4.8.
I'm going to give it 4 and 5 stars or howls. I'm just saying, when it comes to Lovecraftian thriller, sci-fi-ish horrors, yeah, I think it's 5-star. In its genre, it's a 5-star movie. When I'm thinking about all my favorite movies of all time and ranking all media, I give it a solid 4. So that's where I'm coming from.
Nice.
Very nice. Very nice.
And I just a 4.5. So
I agree as far as that system is concerned, because there's been a lot of great Lovecraft films, but this one I think is kind of king of the mountain right now for me, as far as an adaptation. There's Dagon and other films like that, but this one just really nails it. And I agree with that. And I myself am going to give it a 4.5. I feel bad because I really love this movie, and I know it's kind of unfair because I almost leave 5 there for, nostalgia purposes. There are older films that I give 5s, like Evil Dead. I'll give that a 5 all day long. And it's not fair because, when I first saw that movie, it blew my mind. But since then, I've become so jaded that anything I watch now is kind of, I don't get the same feel that I got from those films back in the day. And it's because of my age, I guess, or how many films I've seen. But I think 4.5 is perfect for this movie.
Nice.
I'll give it 2 thumbs up. Up where? I have no idea. All right, gentlemen. Let's talk about stuff that we're into nowadays. Keith, why don't you lead us off with this, man? What are you into this week?
Gladly.
How did that Transylvania Hellhounds fan get that stylish Transylvania Hellhounds hoodie, you ask? TeePublic. And what about that other Transylvania Hellhounds fan and that rockin' Transylvania Hellhounds t-shirt, you ask? TeePublic. Cell phone cases? TeePublic. Stickers? TeePublic. Banners? TeePublic. Pillows? TeePublic. That's right. Go to teepublic.com and search for the Transylvania Hellhounds. We have a store there. Yeah, it's that easy.
So it is a known fact by some, and now, broaden the amount of people that know this. The Hellhounds here, we play on the PlayStation Network. We play Friday the 13th, the game. Now, for people who don't know about the game, and if you don't know about the movies, I don't know why you're watching this podcast.
Yeah.
So,
if you don't know about the movies, what rock have you been living under for the last your entire life?
Exactly. Now, so the game is based on the movies, where the plot is you are on a camp.
I can't even look at my phone.
Don't worry, he's not behind you. He's in another house. I don't see a machete. You're all right. Where's the Jason killers down? We figured nothing.
Take it off. Take it off.
What is this, some sort of Friday the 13th strip joint?
Come on. So anyway, the plot of the game is you're either a counselor or Jason, and the computer picks out of 8 people who gets to play Jason. And if you're Jason, you hunt the counselors down and try to kill them before they can escape, or call the cops, or escape on a boat or in a car or whatever. And if you're a counselor, well, you're trying not to get killed, you're trying to escape. And we've just, in the last few years, we started playing this, and now it has become a weekly Monday night event. For anybody who has not played this but has a PS4 and they play PlayStation, I would definitely, especially in these times when you're stuck indoors, I would get it. It is a hoot. It is hilarious. It's like Groundhog Day. It's the same thing all the time. You're a counselor trying to escape, or you're Jason trying to kill counselors. It's so simplistic. But in simplicity, we have found great joy, humor, and just had so much fun with it. So that's probably my biggest recommendation right now for people. If we're gonna throw something out there, but if we're talking like music or a movie or something like that, really, I'm waiting to hear more. As far as from Carcass and Testament, but if no one's checked out the new Carcass and Testament songs, they should. They definitely should. That's my music recommendation.
Very cool, brother. Hobbit, what you been into lately?
Well, aside from the normal video gaming and movie watching and stuff, watching a ridiculous number of horror movies, I'm going to recommend a game that features the music of the Transylvania Hellhounds. I believe we have 6 songs in this game. It's called Rimwalker, all one word. It's available for Apple devices and also available in virtual reality on the Oculus Go. Hopefully, in the future, there will be more versions of hopefully an Android eventually, and maybe I forget what the name of the Oculus Go is. One level, there's one that's a step above. I can't recall the name of it off the top of my head, but anyway, it's available on iOS, on Oculus Go, and it's like a kind of futuristic thing, but you're riding a giant sphere, and there's things going on in the sphere and a ball bouncing around, and you're trying to keep the ball from hitting the outer rim of your sphere while you're trying to accomplish certain goals within the sphere, whether it be kill these creatures or eliminate all these blocks and whatever. You pick up power-ups and whatnot, and all while listening to Howl at the Moon and I believe Zombie Shark Armageddon's in there, and a few other of our songs. So check out Rimwalker and check out the company's website, isynthetica.com. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. All right, Alan, bring it in. What you got?
Well, I got a movie, and I talk about this movie to you guys a lot. I was trying to tie into something kind of Lovecraftian, but this maybe in just the monster alone. But it's a movie that I found a few years ago, and I just fell in love with it. And it's like a comfort type movie where I just do stuff around the house. I'll throw it in, but it's Grabbers.
Oh yeah,
it's just a great little flick, man. I think it's right on the independent level. But just the actors, you really get to like these characters, and you got to see it. I mean, it's just, you relate to the characters, and it's the story building. I mean, it only takes place over like a weekend, but the special effects, there's for the most part, most of it's CGI, but and that's the only thing that might become dated after a period of time, is a couple of those effects. But all in all, I highly recommend that movie. And the creature kind of reminds me of like a Lovecraft type creature, slimy and teeth. But,
oh yeah. No, I've seen it. I love it. I think it's available for streaming right now too.
Yeah, you can find it streaming there. For a long time, it was on Netflix. But
yeah, very cool. Well, I guess it's my turn, and I'm gonna take it back to my childhood. I've been.
I'm sorry, we're running out of time.
What?
Everybody,
guys, what are you talking about? No, it's almost like a comfort to me. I read it once a year, and it is The Hobbit. Man, this book just reads like a cool drink of water, man. It just flows.
People.
Yeah, I love this book. This is actually the original copy from when I was a little kid. I said I read it once a year, and I think during this time in our lives with what's going on, now more than ever, I find it a comfort. It's a group of people coming together, facing insurmountable odds, and making it through to the other side together. And I think that's what the lesson is today. Is man, we all just gotta hunker down, be kind to each other, and help each other out and get through this. But don't touch me. I'm kidding. No, man.
Going solo. Damn it.
Yeah. Hobbit's got a solo album coming out. It's just drum solo after drum solo. Now, but yeah, I think that's the message with this story. Honestly, is people coming together from all corners of the earth and working together to get something done. And I think that's what we need to do now. Is just stay calm, stay together. We'll get through it. Yeah, I'm down with that, man. That's how I feel. I know the four of us are feeling this pretty bad. It's kind of sucks that we're all, stuck in isolation and that kind of crap, but it won't be long. The hounds will howl again. Cool, man. Well, I guess that's it for us. And this podcast, we're just going to try it out and see how it works out. Like I said, leave us some comments. Hey, man, that's cool. Hey, that sucks. Hey, how do I buy the guitar hanging on Keith's wall? That kind of stuff. Hey, where's
my Beatles poster?
Yeah, where are the cats, Hobbit? They were crawling all over you before we started this thing, and now they're
zonked out, and Roddy's looking out the window.
Yeah, see, we had monsters and special effects, and it all went out the window. I don't know what happened. Oh, man.
Next time.
Cool. Well, yeah. Until next time, man, we're going to try and do this again here real soon. Just let us know what you think, and hopefully we'll see y'all here real soon. Get out in the sunshine together. Hear some music. Oh, yeah. Until then, howl, everybody. Keep on trucking.
Howl.